Listen, these street takeovers are absolutely insane, guys. Complete insanity. I have no idea how some of these city states specifically even allow these things to happen. Not saying that they are like openly allowing it, let's just say this year, but maybe there needs to be like more cameras or something, or even like harsher punishments. Like, listen, we catch your car, we destroy it immediately. How about that? Either way, officer attacked during fiery street takeover. This is a suggestion via a channel member.
They were throwing explosives, like firework-looking explosives. All like the people were out running, and there was about probably 25, 30 cop cars. But that cop car lighting on fire because of the explosives was insane.
They're throwing it at the cop.
Boston cops under attack when a street takeover descends into chaos. At one point, agitators shoot fireworks at a squad car, causing it to burst into flames. Look at that, with an officer trapped inside.
Who's in? Oh,
now, as the
no.
crowd continued to wreak havoc, two suspects, an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old, were arrested and charged with assaulting a police officer. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kaylee.
Okay, is the cop okay?
McEnany here with my co-host Harris Faulkner and Emily Campagno. Also joining us, Molly Hemingway, Fox News contributor, and joining us on the couch for the first time, we're excited to have him, John Ashbrook, co-host of the Ruthless podcast. Welcome. Well, the president of the Boston Police Union says his officers were always targets.
I mean, of course.
It has happened the last couple of years on a single incident or maybe a couple of incidents through the summer where it used to be drag racers would come in. They'd come in 1, 2, 3 in the morning, separate communities, spin the tires, make a bunch of smoke, and then go on their way. Okay. And we would monitor them, rightfully so.
Obviously.
But what happened last weekend got out of control. It went through 4 different communities, ended up here at a couple of locations in Boston. And each location that they went to in this past incident, it appears as though they got more aggressive. And when they ended up in the downtown South End section of Boston, that pretty much, in our opinion, looked premeditated. They knew what they were going to do, and they were hell-bent on attacking police officers.
Yeah, guys, like this generation, like the young generation specifically, I'd go ahead and say from the ages of like 17 to maybe 25. I don't know what is wrong with them, guys. All right, I'm not trying to just dump on the younger generations, guys. I'm not trying to do that specifically, but in the context of this here, like I remember being bad, right? If that makes any sense here, but never to the point of this type of bad, right? Like I mean, I stayed out later than I should have. That type of thing. That was bad, right? You get what I mean here? And now, whatever's going on with these people, guys, okay, these young ones, these like the TikTok generation of clout chasing and things like that. Like these people are wild, bro. Like I would have never thought in my entire life growing up, all right, that there was going to be like a culture that I guess thought it was okay or normalized to completely push back against all types of authority. And then you're throwing things at the cops, and these things are also, what is happening here, guys?
Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey pledged to put an end to this dangerous trend.
Anyone who engages in that conduct will be found and will be held accountable to the furthest extent of the law.
That's fair.
I just want to be really clear that we have zero tolerance for this in the state. Some of the perpetrators are from Massachusetts.
Right.
Other perpetrators are coming into Massachusetts. But whether you're in Massachusetts or you think about coming to Massachusetts, you are not welcome to engage in that conduct at any time, in any place, anywhere in this state.
Okay, guys, that absolutely would be amazing if she held that standard to everyone, if that makes any sense here. Because obviously this is one of these sanctuary states, guys. You understand this here? And it seems like the law means something, I guess, when she's in front of a microphone, right? Let's just say this here. But when other laws are being broken specifically, it's completely fine here. Like, I wonder if, okay, I see the D next to her name, guys, so I'm just going to go in now, all right? So here's the thing. I wonder if the people that are getting arrested for this here are getting out on like dollar bails or no cash bails or these type of like ridiculous things that exist kind of within places like this here, guys.
But lighting a cop car on fire in Boston was just the finale for these vandals. Earlier in the night, crowds at other street takeovers across the state shot fireworks at cops.
This is the same night?
Almost hit an officer with a possible stolen car and blocked crucial roads leading to a hospital.
Jeez.
Emily, yet again we see this, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, this time assault and battery. And my question is
that
how do you
age range
stop
right now,
these
guys?
individuals? This seems like an intervention point when someone's 18 or 19 years old from becoming a career criminal who could go on
Arrest
to
the parents.
perpetrate other violent crimes.
Yeah, you stop through deterrence, and that means enforcing the laws, and that means equipping the judges with some type of a modicum of control
18,
and
19.
influence over the outcome, so they don't sit there and say, my hands are tied, they're juvenile, so we're going to put them through family court, they'll be out in 2 seconds. Look, what I see here is a pattern that's very frightening, and to me it's reflective of the prior administration's lax policies and the Democrat and liberal DAs that have been allowed to foment and fester in all of these Democrat cities, and that is that out-of-state agitators, out-of-area agitators come and join what they were sort of describing as a ruckus. I mean, you heard the police union chief talk about it, the president talk about, look, it used to be, drag racing on the streets. Who hasn't done that? That's been there since the 50s, whatever.
I haven't done that.
Now, he says, throughout the night, it was escalating in violence, escalating in targeting, and then culminating in what I see as an enhancement, by the way, that can receive the death penalty. If you shoot an explosive incendiary device at a car with a cop inside, that is absolutely death penalty eligible. So
yeah, guys, it doesn't matter, cop or no cop, guys. Understand this here. If a person is inside of a vehicle, I don't care about the position that they got hired to do, guys, if that makes any sense here. Obviously, it escalates it if it is like a law enforcement agent. Obviously, I get that. But a person inside of a vehicle, that's kind of what I care about in the context of this here. A person inside of a vehicle, and there's someone outside of the vehicle, and they're throwing projectiles that have the ability to kind of explode, then I think that's absolutely like life imprisonment type of thing here, guys. I think that's by default that, kind of regardless of whatever the person's job title is.
I think here, they're making the right statements, but now we need to see it backed up with arrests and with sentences that are commensurate with the crime, not the ages.
Yeah, it's a great point, Harris, especially when you look and you have the union saying that the city was hell-bent, that these individuals were hell-bent on attacking law enforcement officers. We see this in Portland, and people like to infantilize the kids there. They're on a naked bike ride in Portland. No, they tried to burn down a place that law enforcement inhabits in a nice facility, and here again, targeting a guy in a car with a fire.
Yeah, I just want to visit this idea, though, that they are somehow adolescents working through aggression and trying to get older. I mean, these are men. These are men and women of adult ages. At that age, at 18, you could fight in a war for this country. They've decided to
but you can't drink.
Take their anger and purpose their violence toward, I don't know. I don't even know what you call this because it's dangerous. So I like a one strike you're out theory for this particular age group.
Like
and
brazen
right.
things.
So you make the punishment fit the crime, but you don't wait for it to be 2 and 3 strikes before you get tough on them. I mean, we are living in a place right now in America where soft on crime policies have gotten out of hand. So maybe they started when they were young and have just gotten better at it now. Well, then let's have that tougher conversation legally with them while they're still young.
John, I wonder where this attitude and this disrespect for police comes from. And I started thinking about it, and I think back to 2014, 2015, some of the narratives that were sown during the Obama administration around Michael Brown, hands up, don't shoot. And then Obama's DOJ comes out and says, hey, nope, nothing to see here. That was lawful self-defense. Kamala doubled down on the false narrative many years later. I bring that up because people have been taught, it's been sown in their head politically to disrespect police, disrespect law enforcement. And we know the bad apple in law enforcement is the rare exception. These are heroic men and women.
Yeah, cops have a very, very difficult job. And I have a bunch of friends who are cops. I've got friends who are cops during riots. I've got friends who are cops at the point that you're talking about in our country where, unfortunately, just the mood against police went way, way bad. I remember a friend of mine was taking his daughter to soccer practice, and he got off his shift, and he was in uniform. And people at soccer practice were, like, looking at him, giving him side eye. Somebody walked up and made a comment to him. And they already have a difficult job enough as it is dealing with all of these things that you saw in the video that, like, you need that support from the officials. And, of course, now the governor of Massachusetts seems to be saying the right things, but how are they actually going to back it up? The mayor of Boston has been very anti-police throughout her tenure. And we know, you mentioned Portland. In the state of Oregon, they spend more money on illegal health care than they do for cops.
Yeah, I mean, you took the words out of my mouth. As you look at this, Molly, I mean, these are violent scenes. And you have Governor Maura Healey saying, we have a zero-tolerance policy. Well, really? When Boston's Mayor Michelle Wu has repeatedly bucked Tom Homan, trying to play the strong woman, we won't work with ICE.
Well, you're right.
Didn't I just point that out?
Anti-police narratives took root more than a decade ago. but they really got going during the BLM riots in 2020. And we saw there just an actual agenda to decrease law and order on city streets, to remove police officers. And this wasn't just supported by the Democrat Party and the media, but also corporations, which I think we should remember gave $100 billion to the BLM movement. Criminals and Antifa and other left-wing terror groups understand that to gain political control, you actually need to control the streets. And so it's not surprising that we're seeing these problems in both of these areas. And Portland has, to your point, John, has actually helped some of these criminals and Antifa networks think about how to avoid accountability for what they're doing to the city.
Yeah, and just a reminder, Kamala Harris solicited money and donations for the Minnesota Freedom Fund. And part of that money from that fund was used to bail out people in those 2020 riots. So that's how a narrative takes hold over time.
Hey,
okay, hold on. Like, I get it. Like, I understand this is Fox News, so I understand that we're going to immediately blame Obama specifically for it. Listen, Obama has flaws. Okay, I've never been a fan at all, right? But I would definitely not tell you that the first time that people started, like the F the police type of thing came from, the 2010s and 8s. You get what I'm saying here? That's just not true. It goes way back further. Okay. It goes a lot further back. And I think we need to kind of understand that before we, just immediately just this scapegoat. You get what I mean here, guys? At least, I'm sure. I remember, guys. There was a rap song from the 80s and 90s or something like that, guys. Right? That's what I'm talking about. They're within the realm of people that are being policed. Okay, you have to understand. Like, there was an old experiment, the Stanford experiment or something like that. Where they put like people off of like a bus. They hired people and they said, "Hey, listen, bro, you guys all know each other. Great, amazing. Put you in like a warehouse, and some of you guys are going to be the police, and the others are going to be the like inmates and things like that." It was a super old experiment. I think that basically will explain to you how and why there are some people that are in certain areas that are being policed. They have an absolute utter hatred for the police. Is it smart? Not really, but I think it's psychology. I think, right? Whenever someone like has the ability to kind of like lord over you in some meaningful manner, you tend to perceive the lording as terrible. Let's just say this here. And I probably would tell you this, it probably goes back even further than what I'm saying here. Just understand this here. Like the advent of someone telling you what to do is generally enough sometimes for some people. To completely make them lose it, I think, right? Is it a good thing? Absolutely not, because we definitely need law and order, guys. Okay, I'm a big law and order type of person here, but I'm trying to enter into the psyche specifically of someone who is in an area that is crime infested. They may not be involved in any type of crime infestation, let's just say this here, but they just have the absolute misfortune to live in that area, okay? Their perception of the police is not going to be the same perception of the police that I have living in an area with literally no crime. Like, you see the police, you wave at them. Yeah, I don't know. They're just sitting over there, guys. I don't know, right? But that's what it is here. Like, specifically, if you live in an area where there's criminality, of course, I can imagine your perception of that specific reality is going to be terrible. And so I think, depending on where the street takeovers are actually taking place, that's probably it. Also, young, rebellious, completely, kids that were basically raised in terrible households. I can imagine how that also is a thing that happens here. This is why I initially say I blame the parents. I blame the parents on everything. Okay, because guess what happens when you actually give structure to your children and you never allow any of the absolute crazy. Don't get me wrong here. There are going to be some exceptions to the rule, but I know someone is already typing in the comments, right, with their fingers, guys, right? But I know this happened. Listen, bro, the exception is that there are going to be some bad kids occasionally that come out of great households with structure, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know. But the rule that basically dictates that if you teach your kids, right, not to do these crazy things in the first place, guess what happens? They're less likely to do the crazy things in the first place, truth be told. My opinion, obviously, I'm sure someone's going to find something crazy in my statement. I smell it. Happens every single day, bro. Every day. Don't worry, guys. I definitely like when you guys like disagree and you have something to say. Truth be told, I love that. I love seeing the disagreeers. All right. But all right. Listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later.